Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Swallowed Star based on novel. So let's start. Standing in midair above the mouth of the volcano, Luo Feng disappeared suddenly. Then, one after another, domains connected to the Dark Continent started appearing, but Luo Feng would always appear within 1 million miles of a place where undying spirits could be found. Not red. Not red. Red. Not red. After teleporting for a few hundred times, within an extremely short time, he finished surveying the few hundred undying spirits. Out of these undying spirits, there was a total of 12 who could cause both eyes of the golden toad to turn red. Being prudent, Luo Feng immediately put all 12 undying spirits within a dim, sealed space around them to ensure that all 12 undying spirits were unable to move an inch. Now, it is time to go meet torch-smelting Master God. Luo Feng trod ahead in midair. One step forward, and he arrived directly above the towering godly palace, which was completely surrounded by volcanoes. Huh? Luo Feng frowned. There are 2 targets within this godly palace. With the golden toad, he could detect that there were 2 targets beneath him. Within the godly palace, in a quiet palace hall, torch-smelting Master God held onto his scepter as he stood in one spot. He was unable to break free from the invisible golden light restraining him. Suddenly, there was absolute silence. A man with dark green wings was slowly descending from the sky and landed in this palace hall, which was in the highest point of this godly palace. Yet he was completely unnoticed by the guards stationed around the entire godly palace. Torch-smelting Master God was a little intimidated when he saw the man before him. He said, "If I may ask, why is my lord here at Yuan Ao's secret region? If I am clear of your purpose of visit, I can request an audience for you with Yuan Ao Master. Why not address him as Yuan Ao Supreme God?" Luo Feng jested. At the same time, he made a speedy judgment that this torch-smelting Master God was the cause of the eyes of that golden toad turning red, and not some strange object. "My lord, you possess such power," torch-smelting Master God said reverentially. "You must be a universe master from other powers of the universe." Luo Feng made no denial. "My lord, please feel free to give me your orders," torch-smelting Master God said. "I, torch-smelting, will do my best to serve you." "Let me ask you," Luo Feng began. "Please speak your mind." Torch-smelting Master God had barely started when his eyes darkened as though he had already entered an illusion. Luo Feng frowned as he looked at torch-smelting Master God before him. "I suppose he is only an elementary knight. Yet, I could only manage to make him fall into an illusion. I am unable to search his memory." To search memories, firstly, one had to be good in the skill itself. Secondly, both parties must be very far apart. This torch-smelting Master God was also a universe knight, albeit a very weak one, but he was very good with aspects involving souls. So Luo Feng could at most push him into an illusion, but was unable to search his memories. Luo Feng stood where he was, waiting silently for a moment. Finally, he cannot hold out any longer. Luo Feng smiled and nodded. Torch-smelting knight had finally fallen into the illusion. Of course, this merely meant that Luo Feng could carry out his interrogation. He was still unable to search his memories. "Let me ask you, what special secret do you have?" Luo Feng asked. With his scepter in his hands, torch-smelting knight started speaking in a mechanical manner. "I sneak attacked stoic god and killed him." Luo Feng listened with furrowed brows. Something was not right. It did not sound as though there was anything threatening the primal universe. The primal universe was impregnated with hundreds of millions of races. Even the invincible existence, human form, teacher origin, was suppressed by the universe origin. To be able to be termed as something that boded ill against the primal universe, where even teacher origin was mobilized, this was definitely no trivial matter. "Have you ever left Yuan Ao's secret region? Has Yuan Ao Master ever ordered you to handle some important matters? Have you ever obtained any unique treasures, or met with any unique encounters? What makes you stand out from the other knights? What is special about you? Luo Feng interrogated torch-smelting Master God without pause. Completely immersed within his illusionary world, torch-smelting Master God answered all Luo Feng's questions with everything he knew. The more Luo Feng heard, the more confused he got. Then, he was struck by a sudden thought. A figure encased in golden light flew over. This was the other target found within the godly palace that caused the eyes of the golden toad to turn red, an undying spirit. This tall and burly life form was black all over. He merely stood in one spot with lifeless eyes. He had already fallen under Luo Feng's control, wordlessly and without any warning. Search his memories. Luo Feng was unable to search torch-smelting Master God, but he was able to search those of this undying. A moment later. Huh! Luo Feng looked at the black and burly undying life form and torch-smelting Master God. So coincidental. This undying spirit and the one I killed previously, Pova God, are all soul servants of this torch-smelting Master God. Combining the two memories, Luo Feng discovered this common ground. With a thought in mind, Luo Feng made his move. In certain faraway lands within the Dark Continent, there were 12 undying spirits, who could also cause the eyes of the golden toad to become red. With a single thought, Luo Feng released them from the sealed space. Then, by switching time and space, he shifted all of them into this towering palace hall. Within this palace hall, 15 figures suddenly gathered. Now, Luo Feng was with torch-smelting Master God and 13 undying spirits. Every one of them here are targets. Search. Immediately, Luo Feng went to the trouble of painstakingly searching the memories of every undying spirit present. Apart from torch-smelting Master God, he searched the memories of all the other 13 undying spirits. Then he carefully carried out comparisons. There is nothing out of the norm. They are all very ordinary undying. And they crawled out step by step from the Dark Continent. Luo Feng analyzed this. The only common thing was, all 13 of them are soul servants of torch-smelting Master God. Torch-smelting. Luo Feng looked at torch-smelting. How many soul servants do you have? A total of 20, torch-smelting Master God replied. 4 have been annihilated. 16 left. Luo Feng took one look at the 13 undying spirits standing there expressionlessly, as though they were in a coma, and asked, all are undying. There are 3 demigods, torch-smelting Master God replied. Under the command of which undying spirit, from which empire? Luo Feng asked. Since he had already searched the memories of these 13 undying spirits, he was naturally familiar with the geographical location of the entire Dark Continent. According to what torch-smelting Master God said, Luo Feng was able to locate the 3 soul servant of torch-smelting Master God, who were sector lords. He searched their memories, but the results were surprising. These 3 sector lords were unable to cause the eyes of the golden toad to turn red, so obviously, they were not the targets he was looking for. These 3 sector lords were not targets. But, out of all the soul servants of torch-smelting Master God, every single one of the undying servants are targets. Even torch-smelting Master God himself is a target. Luo Feng pondered this. But torch-smelting Master God himself does not seem to present any problems. Could it be? Torch-smelting, is Yuan Ao your master? Luo Feng asked. Yes, torch-smelting Master God replied in a mechanical manner. Luo Feng laughed suddenly. So, it is really him. Luo Feng continued pressing him for more information. Do you know whether Yuan Ao Master has other soul servants? Yes, there are 2 that I know of, torch-smelting Master God replied in his mechanical voice again. Tell me their names. Where are they? Luo Feng asked. A short while later. Including torch-smelting Master God, all 14 targets were annihilated without a second thought. Luo Feng retreated from this golden kingdom, and immediately teleported away from the Dark Continent. Then he proceeded to an even wider continent out of the 12 large continents, Towering Continent. Within the mezzanine spaces corresponding to the universe space of the Yuan Ao secret region, in the depths of the limitless space debris, there was a vast, towering god country. This god country was mighty and boundless. Suspended in mid-air above this god country was a gigantic continent. This suspended continent had many black chains that were all at least 60 million miles long, plunged straight into the bottomless ocean. The entire suspended continent seemed unable to float away, because of these few hundred huge black chains connected to it. Right in the core of this suspended continent, there was a vast lake. Within the lake, there was a boiling hot black fluid. If any universe knight were to fall within this black fluid, he would be burned and annihilated within an instant. There was an incomparably towering figure lying over there. This towering figure was like a giant sculpted out of a gigantic mountain, and it lay within the vast lake brimming with that boiling hot black fluid. The giant sat up suddenly. His head was squarish with only one large eye and a mouth. His godly body wore grey armor covered with a layer of mercury-like liquid set into a continuous motion. The moment he sat up, it was as though a towering mountain were emerging out of a lake filled with black fluid. The black fluid continuously flowed from his body to return to the lake. He was none other than the famous Yuan Ao Master. The misty, golden domain, Yuan Ao Master said in a low voice. Even torch smelting is unable to resist. Looks resembling that of the Ka Vulture clan, with an invincible power. Oh. He has fallen into an illusion. Torch smelting Master God was his soul servant, so naturally, they could communicate via their souls even if they were very far away from one another. Even at the very instant, he knew he had fallen into an illusion. Torch smelting Master God was quick at providing Yuan Ao Master with information immediately. What a pity. He quickly fell into enemies' hands, and was no longer able to transmit information. What strong power! A top-tier universe overlord. No. He must be a universe master. Yuan Ao Master waited in silence. Only a short moment later, Yuan Ao Master felt his servant, torch-smelting Master God, being annihilated. He really is dead. Yuan Ao Master affirmed the fact in a low voice, his eyes burning with a strange emotion. Everything is happening as expected. Once the plan is activated, the Ancestral God School, the self-proclaimed guardians of the primal universe origin, will be sure to make a move. Indeed, this move came pretty quickly. The Ancestral God School must have sent a universe master. Bring it on. What a great sacrifice, he continued, but Ancestral God School coming here doesn't really mean much. Since the great being from the Ancestral God School has arrived, I should also move on to my next step, the demons. The Space Beast Alliance. The Northern Territory Alliance. They should all make their way here one after the other. Luo Feng was oblivious to everything that was happening. Strange, he thought. It is understandable if Yuan Ao Master did not know about me killing Pova God. But I killed his soul servant, torch-smelting Master God. Yuan Ao Master would surely learn of it almost immediately. Luo Feng stood high up in the sky of the vast tower continent, with slightly furrowed brows as he considered. But Yuan Ao Master has not made a single move at all. Yuan Ao Master might have very strong power, but Luo Feng had no fear for him. But Yuan Ao Master did not appear. Luo Feng felt that something was not right. If there was someone slaughtering great beings in the human territory, then universe masters of the human race would have reacted and appeared quickly. Besides, based on the information obtained from earlier investigations, torch-smelting Master God and the other undying soul servants were already confirmed as targets. Since Yuan Ao Master was the master of torch-smelting Master God, it was very likely that the source might be found with Yuan Ao Master. We shall see. I am very interested to know what tricks he has up his sleeves and what could mean harm to the primal universe. With a thought in mind, Luo Feng made his move. An endless, misty, golden light, bringing with it the power of Milky Way Horde Leader, landed directly on this towering continent with a maximum diameter of 5.1 light-years. At this very moment, not one of those great beings on towering continent would ever hold hopes of eluding Luo Feng's control. Towering continent was a relatively huge continent out of the 12 continents. There were countless beings living on the continent, and hundreds of millions of lives died during the Horde Leader Wars, Empire Wars, and Godly Wars. These wars had resulted in generations of great beings. There were 6 master gods in total on Towering Continent, around 1,000 undying fighters, and countless half-deities and legends. Seal. Luo Feng stood under the 7-color light membrane. His wings were open, and he looked down at the land. The dimming golden light covered the entire Towering Continent and everyone on it. Under the boundless golden light, those half-deities, legends, and saints were still able to move, but undying fighters and master gods couldn't move even a bit. Under Space Seal, they couldn't teleport themselves. Such a strong binding. So powerful. The great Yuan Ao Supreme God. More than half of the undying fighters on Towering Continent shouted the name Yuan Ao Supreme God. These undying fighters had soul servants as well, and they could determine from their servants that the golden light was covering a vast area. Those undying fighters had made contact with their master gods, and they knew that those master gods were this powerful. Master gods were only able to put pressure on individual undying fighters, but they wouldn't be able to affect an area of 10 billion square kilometers. Only Yuan Ao Supreme God was able to do that. My 22 servants are distributed on different areas on Towering Continent, and all of them are covered by golden light. How large the area is? It's over 1 square light year. This is what a universe master is capable of. A gleaming godly palace floated in the mist, and there were white-caped and golden-caped servants in the palace. This was the godly palace of glorious Master God, and it was the honor of saints, legends, and half-deities to serve the great glorious Master God Ta Wo. However, their glorious Master God now sat on the throne and couldn't even move a muscle. He was terrified. It isn't Yuan Ao Supreme God. Who is it? Who is it? Glorious Master God was horrified. This is a universe master. Undying fighters were yelling, Yuan Ao Supreme God. The half-deity guards were also shouting, Yuan Ao Supreme God. The legend servants were also shouting, Yuan Ao Supreme God. Glorious Master God Ta Wo sat on the throne, scared stiff. He couldn't scold the great beings under him. After all, those undying fighters didn't have much to do with Yuan Ao Supreme Master, but he was a sole servant of Yuan Ao Supreme God. So naturally, he knew that it didn't come from Yuan Ao Supreme God. Yuan Ao Supreme God. Yuan Ao Supreme God. The great beings kept shouting. Suddenly, space and time were frozen, while those undying fighters and half-deities stopped talking under the increasing pressure. In the distance, a man with 4 teal-blue wings soaked in golden light walked in. All the undying fighters, half-deities, legends, and glorious Master God gazed at him. Ta Wo, said the winged man as he approached glorious Master God. His voice resounded in the palace. You're a soul slave of Yuan Ao. How dare you disrespect Yuan Ao Supreme God, a legend servant screamed. How dare you call Yuan Ao Supreme God by his name? Although he was afraid of this individual, he had been indoctrinated that Yuan Ao Supreme God was the almighty being deserving of awe. His belief was stronger than his fear of death, which was why he was infuriated by this stranger using the name Yuan Ao directly. How dare you call Yuan Ao Supreme God by name? You? All of a sudden, those who had spoken were turned to ashes. Luo Feng didn't even look at them. Those domain lords and sector lords just hadn't wanted to live, as they had dared to defy a universe master. On the contrary, the undying fighters in the palace and glorious Master God Ta Wo didn't say anything. No answer, whispered Luo Feng. Answer me. Are you a soul servant of Yuan Ao? Suddenly, Ta Wo's eyes lost all the light, and he answered, yes, I'm a soul slave of Yuan Ao Supreme God. The undying fighters looked at Ta Wo in shock. They took note of his dismal eyes and stiff voice. They all understood now that Ta Wo was being controlled. They knew that Ta Wo Master God was a universe knight, and he was a great being who was able to roam the earth. Who would able to control a universe knight so easily? It is. I thought torch smelting's news was fake. Luo Feng smiled. Give me the names of your soul slaves. Kuwaye, Busai, Luomachi, glorious Master God Ta Wo answered repeatedly. All your undying soul slaves are targets. Luo Feng looked to the undying fighters down there. Time to kill you all. Luo Feng had teleported on Towering Continent before arriving at the palace. He found out that 2 Universe Knights and 49 undying fighters were targets. He searched the memories of undying fighters. There were thousands of undying fighters on the 12 continents, and they all knew each other. Since Luo Feng had searched their memories, he knew the undying fighters and their names. He also heard the names revealed to him by Glorious Master God, and all those undying soul slaves were the targets. The undying fighters started to beg Luo Feng for mercy upon seeing him decide to kill them. No, please spare our lives. Great being, please spare our lives. Great being, we have no intention to be your enemy. Please spare our lives, we'll be grateful for your mercy forever. Luo Feng turned his head and looked into the distance. He could see that a being that had just arrived at Towering Continent. Above an ocean, a giant arm tore the 7-color light membrane, and a being walked into Towering Continent. He was a towering being, and the soul eye on his head gazed into the distance. He was Yuan Ao Master. The legendary Yuan Ao Supreme God of the 12 continents. After a snort, his armor started to burn with flames, and the golden light couldn't affect him at all. So powerful, he said. Even I can't control the space and time. It might be a top-tier domain-type true treasure. Fortunately, I have a top-tier domain-type true treasure as well. Otherwise, I would be at a disadvantage. Yuan Ao Master's godly body started to glow. All of a sudden, endless flames appeared on Towering Continent. Ah! Flames! Fire! Ah! Danger! Incredible! Just when all the lives on Towering Continent were horrified, they soon realized that those flames weren't powerful at all. Even a baby wouldn't be harmed by the flames. The golden flames were like a breeze. Look! Nothing happened. It's so weird. Everyone on Towering Continent was thrilled. Even the wars were paused. Under those incredible flames, they couldn't see things in the distance. It was a miracle. The dimming golden light didn't affect the wars on the continent, but the flames significantly narrowed the residents' vision. Glorious God Palace. Please, spare our lives. Mercy, please. Just when the undying fighters were begging for their lives, endless flames arrived. The golden country formed by Shawu Wings was fundamentally different from domain-type true treasures. Domain-type true treasures would clash with each other if their power were let out, as Thousand Treasures River and Floating Mountain Ocean clashed with each other on the original stars. However, if the powers were different, it would not happen. Master of Banfu's Iluo sector still existed in Luo Feng's miniature universe, as they had contrasting types of power. Golden Country a control over space and time, like that of a universe master, but much more powerful, because it came from Shawu Wing's secret techniques. That was why Yuan Ao Master wasn't able to control the space and time. I'll kill all the targets. Luo Feng glanced around. How dare you, roared the voice of Yuan Ao Master came from the endless golden flames. The flames immediately put Ta Wo and those undying fighters under their protection. Although the domain-type true treasure wasn't able to extend as far as Golden Country, it was almost as powerful. Yuan Ao, you can't protect them, said Luo Feng calmly. Luo Feng's words dazed everyone in the palace. This being wasn't even afraid of Yuan Ao Supreme God. They had been indoctrinated that Yuan Ao Supreme God was supreme since they were born. Help us, Yuan Ao Supreme God, yelled Glorious Master God. Save us, Yuan Ao Supreme God, yelled the undying fighters. He won't be able to kill you, said Yuan Ao Supreme God. Luo Feng shook his head. What a joke. A golden river surged from Luo Feng's body. The flames crumbled beneath Nine Tiger River, and Glorious Master God and his 3 soul slaves were annihilated immediately. Damn you, roared the voice from the endless flames. Luo Feng took a last look at the surviving undying spirits, demigods, and legendary beings who looked lifeless, shocked, and fearful. Then he turned and took a step forward, and left this glorious god palace. Within the hall of the glorious god palace, there were two undying spirits, not soul servants, a group of demigod guards, and a group of legendary servants. In the presence of Supreme God, how dare he? How dare he? He actually killed glorious Master God, who was under the protection of our Supreme God. Who is he? A rolling sea of waves was upheaved in the minds of this group of legendary beings, demigods, and two undying spirits. As the two undying spirits were not strangers to the vast universe out of Yuan Ao's secret region, their brief understanding allowed them to guess that this enemy must be a universe master who came from the vast universe. But the demigods and legendary beings were different. They were oblivious. They had always been instilled with various beliefs like, no one can disobey Supreme God's commands, and Supreme God is invincible. To think. In the hearts of these legendary beings, domain masters, and demigods, sector lords, a new seed was sprouting. They had banished all such thoughts about the Supreme God being invincible, as a sudden realization dawned on them. In the vast universe, the 12 large continents were never the core. There was an even larger world beyond their continents. That enemy was able to match up to Supreme God. Why can't I? The seed had been sown, so now, there was hope of bearing fruit. Luo Feng took a step out of glorious God Palace. Out in the surroundings, rolling waves of Nine Tiger River were surging. With the empowerment of Golden Kingdom, the weaker Nine Tiger River was still able to cause that endless flame to disperse to naught. Yuan Ao Master. Luo Feng looked at the towering figure standing amidst the endless flame from afar. The towering figure from afar was glaring furiously at Luo Feng with its single eye. Who are you? Don't sneak around. You are not from the Ka Vulture clan. Ha ha, Luo Feng laughed, and instantly, his fiery red hair changed to black, while his armor and wings transformed back to their original color. This was a black-haired man with silver armor and wings. And you are? Yuan Ao Master revealed a trace of uncertainty. Luo Feng answered immediately. Yuan Ao Masters, I was filled with shock. The extraordinary genius from humanity that became a universe master. It has not been that long, has it? You? When did you become a universe master? Yuan Ao Master did not belong to any top power, because he had quickly become a universe master soon after the birth of the universe. For countless years, his power naturally became very strong, so he did not need to be part of any top power, and could roam the universe as a lone wanderer. Yet, because he was a lone wanderer, he was always behind time and uninformed of the latest news. Not too long ago, Luo Feng replied. Oh, Yuan Ao Master pondered for a slight moment as a complicated look flashed in his single eye. After a short while, he said, so, you are Milky Way Horde leader, Luo Feng. To think so many things have happened during these few short months of deep slumber. You actually killed over 6,000 universe knights from the 3 major alliances with one blow. That was pretty ruthless. Nothing much. Luo Feng afforded a slight smile. Obviously, this Yuan Ao Master before him must have learned about what happened on the original stars in the recent years through some intelligence channels. Humph, said Yuan Ao Master. Then he let out a roar. Even if you are a universe master, even if you are from the Human Alliance, you cannot be so impudent. The Yuan Ao secret region is my territory. You come here and kill as you please, this is a provocation to me. However, you are a universe master, and I do not wish to pursue the matter further. Hand over a senior true treasure as compensation, and leave my territory as fast as you can. We shall bury the hatchet. Universe masters were unable to kill each other easily unless the difference in power was quite far apart. Most of them would either negotiate, or incur hatred to end things. A senior true treasure. Luo Feng lightly shook his head. Milky Way Horde leader, do you think that I will let you off, because you are from the Human Alliance? Yuan Ao Master roared. My apologies. There is no way we can put an end to this. Luo Feng looked at Yuan Ao Master. I am here under the orders of the Ancestral God School to exterminate you and the various great beings under your command. Silence. Yuan Ao Master's single eye was filled with shock, which was closely followed by rage and an endless raging fire. You said the Ancestral God School. Yuan Ao Master let out another roar. The Ancestral God School has sent you here to kill me. Loathsome bastard. Detestable Ancestral God School. I, Yuan Ao Master, have run rampant in the universe as a loner. Even universe supreme beings can forget about killing me. Why would I fear your Ancestral God School? Come, come. I am here at Yuan Ao Secret Region. I will wait here and see who comes to kill me. Ha ha ha. Luo Feng raised his brows. Luo Feng could confirm that Yuan Ao Master indeed caused the eyes of the golden toad to turn red. Also, Yuan Ao Master carried with him another target that caused the eyes of the golden toad to turn red. Two targets, one is Yuan Ao Master himself, thought Luo Feng. The other is something he carries by his side. Is it a soul servant that he carries within his world ring? Or another unique object? No matter what it was, so long as it could cause the eyes of the golden toad to turn red, it would be a target that needed to be eliminated and annihilated. When he had been executing Golden Kingdom, enshrouding the Dark Continent to kill torch-smelting Master God, Luo Feng had mentally prepared himself to face Yuan Ao Master. He made quite a conspicuous entrance, as he once again landed in Towering Continent. Luo Feng had been waiting for Yuan Ao Master for some time, and sure enough, Yuan Ao Master had appeared. Everything was within his expectations. Yuan Ao Master was indeed the cause of the golden toad's eyes turning red. Luo Feng had revealed the Ancestral God School as the perpetrator, because he was aware that he could not kill this Yuan Ao Master. Yuan Ao Master is a special life form, thought Luo Feng. His godly body is 1,000,000 miles tall, and his godly power is one level purer than mine. And he has been around since the first era of the birth of the universe. By now, he must have accumulated countless treasures. Based on what I have gathered, those would be top-tier domain-type true treasures, pinnacle true treasure armor, and many other true treasures. I suppose even Star River Master would not be able to kill him. So, early on, when Yuan Ao Master proclaimed that even a universe supreme being could forget about killing him, it was not empty talk. That was the truth. Extremely powerful beings like Star River Master, Primal Chaos City Leader, and 9 Remoteness Master did not fear universe supreme beings. Yuan Ao Master might be a notch lower than Star River Master in terms of combat power, but his massive godly body allowed him to run freely and rampantly throughout the universe, without fearing anyone. Yuan Ao Master glared furiously at Luo Feng. Milky Way Horde Leader, he said. I am not afraid of those bastards of the Ancestral God School at all. As for you, humph. You must be a peripheral member of the Ancestral God School. I could not be bothered with fighting you at all. If you have any sense in you, you will know to hand over a senior true treasure as compensation, and get out of my territory as fast as you can. Otherwise, I shall let you see what I am capable of. Oh, I am indeed curious to know what you are capable of, Luo Feng said, laughing lightly. I would love the opportunity to measure my power against a universe master like you, who emerged during the birth of the universe. What will it be? Do you intend to exchange blows within the Towering Continent? Destroying this entire continent brings me no heartache at all. Yuan Ao Master snorted in an aloof manner. Since you want to court your doom, follow me. We shall battle within the void space of the secret region. Very well. Luo Feng nodded. One after the other, almost simultaneously, the two disappeared from Towering Continent in a flash. Golden Kingdom and Endless Flame, which were previously enshrouding Towering Continent, also disappeared instantaneously. The billions of various life forms on the entire Towering Continent were in a state of shock. The misty golden light and endless flames had arrived on their continent in an instant, one after the other. Now, they had vanished from the continent in an instant. This was unprecedented in the history of the Towering Continent. A couple dozen light-years away from the 12 large continents, there was a void space filled with darkness. There was only a thin, fog-like universe energy. Two figures, one after the other, arrived at this void space. "You are merely the errand boy of the ancestral god school, so I actually had no intention of making things difficult for you," said Yuan Ao Master. "You killed 2 universe knights under my command and various undying spirits, all of which I cannot be bothered to make a fuss over. Just that, when I wanted you to compensate me with a senior true treasure, and then get out of my territory, you had the guts to provoke me into a fight. Humph. Just a young fellow with barely over 100,000 years of cultivation. Let me show you how vastly different I am from Master of Banff, the expert in using illusions." The massive figure with a single eye glared at Luo Feng from afar. Luo Feng stood within the void space, with a blade slung across his back. "Is that so?" he said. The endless, misty golden light appeared, and the void space that was initially filled with darkness instantly transformed into a golden kingdom. The limitless power suppressed Yuan Ao Master, who let out a roar. Suddenly, endless flames appeared out of nowhere. There was only a fractional difference between the power of Golden Kingdom and that of the endless flames. Luo Feng was aware, however, that his Shawu wings were actually much stronger than endless flames. But his godly power was one level lower than Yuan Ao Master's, therefore, this made the power of the second form of this impaired true treasure Shawu wings well matched in strength with endless flame. Other great beings would not be able to use 2 domain-type true treasures at the same time, because domains are mutually exclusive, Luo Feng thought. However, my Golden Kingdom controls time and space, so it makes a perfect combination with a domain-time true treasure. Right? 9 Tiger River is too weak on its own. I need to obtain a much greater domain-type true treasure in the future. Luo Feng was secretly looking forward to his treasure hunt. With Golden Kingdom being a degree more powerful than a top-tier domain-type true treasure, if he could obtain another top-tier domain-type true treasure, he would likely own something that was comparable to a pinnacle domain-type true treasure. A miniature universe could be another method to consider, thought Luo Feng. Miniature universe, Golden Kingdom, domain-type true treasure, these 3 do not repel one another. They could be executed simultaneously. Suddenly, Luo Feng discovered a route that was suitable for him. He had made it all the way to where he was now. Unless he had become a universe master, it would have been very difficult for him to attain an explosive boost in his power within a short period. However, miniature universe, Golden Kingdom, and a domain-type true treasure. The confluence of these 3 would become a powerful stance that exclusively belonged to Luo Feng. Star River Master may be able to execute an ultimate technique, Dark Knight, which resembles miniature universe, because he has a domain-type true treasure, thought Luo Feng, but he does not own a valuable treasure like Shawu wings to allow him to control time and space. When it comes to controlling time and space, I think only a universe supreme being can surpass me, but just barely. Shawu wings are truly amazing. Luo Feng could not help singing praises of his possession. At least, Luo Feng had not heard of any other true treasures with such power. Besides, Shawu wings were still imperfect at this point, so Luo Feng was filled with anticipation for them. Various thoughts flashed through his mind like lightning, but his eyes were glued to his opponent in the distance, a being that was merely a slight notch weaker than Star River Master. Without using his supreme true treasure, Star Tower, what would he be capable of? Luo Feng really looked forward to finding out for himself. "You little human kid, who has cultivated for merely a few dozen eras," jeered Yuan Ao Master. "I will teach you the consequences of provoking me." Then, with a roar, the radiant light of the endless flames charged right before Luo Feng's eyes. This video will end here.